afternoon. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IAC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. Thank you so much for watching. It is hot outside, even in the north, is what I've heard. But I've got some real good tips for you. This is from redcross.org, and so they have some tips on how to stay cool even when it's hot outside. Number one, this is a good one. Be sun smart. Absolutely. It's best to avoid going outside during the hottest hours of the day, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Sometimes you have to do some things, water your garden, and those kinds of things. Oh, by the way, watering the garden, it's best to do that really early in the morning anyway, okay? That way you won't have any scorched plants. And so do it as early as you can. Now, when you're out in the direct light, make sure you wear and make sure you regularly reapply sunscreen. Cover your head with a hat, and remember to take regular breaks indoors, or at least go to a shady spot outside. And that way you're going to avoid getting heat exhaustion or heat stroke. So wearing light-colored, loose-fitting clothing will also help you to be cool and stay cool. Number two, this is a good one right here. Wetter is better. Wetter is better. Heat escapes through the skin, which is the largest organ in the body. So the more skin you can cool down, the better. Now, in baking hot weather, which is what we're having right now, drenching a t-shirt and keeping it wet can be very effective. If you'd rather not walk around in wet clothing, you can buy cooling spray. Or you can have a cool shower will work just as well. Now you can quickly cool yourself down by putting your hands and feet in cold water. Wrists and ankles have lots of pulse points where blood vessels are close to the skin, so you will cool down more quickly. And this is something else you can do. Keep some ice cubes handy if you're working outside a lot. Keep them in a Yeti cup or something that's going to, in thermos, something that's going to keep those things cold so they won't melt as bad. And then your pulse points, what they mean by that is right here. Both my grandmothers in the hot summertime would just come in regularly and either get an ice cube, run that on their wrist, or just run cold water down there at their wrist, and it will work. And also around the ankles, right around that ankle bone, that always helps. That's on both sides of your ankles, okay? So do go on ahead and do that. It works. There's something about it. Oh, and another pulse point people don't think about is right around the back of your neck area. So if you have a cold cloth or put an ice pack at your back, the back of your neck, that also helps. Okay, drink plenty of water. Now, as you sweat throughout the day, the liquids you're losing need to be replaced to avoid dehydration. Symptoms of dehydration include a dry mouth, dizziness or confusion, and headaches. Now, if untreated, dehydration can lead to heat exhaustion. If the person's condition gets worse, you should call 911 for immediate help. Also, which is hard for me to do, avoid caffeine and make sure you're drinking lots of water. And if you can, if possible, sports drinks will help replenish the lost salts, sugars, and fluids. Also, a friend of mine who is an esthetician told me that, she said, every time I see you, you're walking around with a cup of coffee. And I said, oh yeah, I just drink it all throughout the day. And she said, do you realize every cup of coffee you drink, every cup, you've got to replace it with 5 cups of water, just from getting, if nothing else, from getting wrinkles all over your face. Needless to say, I drink a lot of water too. So be really careful about caffeine. I know it'll give you kind of a high energy level up, but did you know water does the same thing? Yeah, if you'll drink a lot of water, you'll find your energy level is up. Number 4, keep your home cool, if at all possible. During the hot weather, it's important to make your home a place you can escape to out of the heat. So keeping it cool is key to feeling comfortable. It may feel natural to throw open the doors and the windows when the sun is shining, but keeping them closed during the hottest parts of the day can also help keep the cool in and the hot out. You can open them again in the evening once the temperatures have gone down, just to let the cool air circulate. It also helps to keep your curtains, shutters, or blinds closed. Although metal blinds can make the room hotter, so be careful there. That's why we have wood blinds, by the way. much better. You can also try to avoid creating too much heat in the home by cooking or using appliances. Now choose meals that won't require extra heat, or if they do, try to prepare them early up in the day. That's a great idea. We eat a lot of salads during this time of the day, and so which helps. Okay, now I also have, and we have time, I have some ideas on keeping your home cool in the morning and then keeping your home cool at night. Let's start with the morning. Okay, 1 in 5 homes are likely to overheat. So here's how you can keep the house cool. Use blinds and curtains or external shutters to block out direct sunlight. A bed sheet or a towel should have a similar effect. Now shut windows during the hottest parts of the day to keep the warm air out. Open windows when the air feels cooler outside than inside. Check your central heating is off, as well as lights and electrical equipment that aren't in use. Now electric fans can also help, but only if the temperature is below 35 degrees. Now cool down 1 or 2 rooms instead of the whole house. You can do that. That's what I used to kind of like about, back in the day before we had the central heat and air. My grandparents had this house right here. We bought the farm a few years ago. And I remember in the den, which Phil uses now for an office, they had one air conditioner. And I'm going to tell you what, you could have hung meat in that room. So it kept that room cooled off, as well as the kitchen where my grandmother would be canning. And I don't know, sometimes that might have been a better deal than what we've got now. Okay, and cooking in the cooler part of the day, my grandmother would only can in the early morning hours. So what they would do is gather their harvest in the late afternoons when it was cooler, and then bring it in, and then she would go ahead and start on it that morning. Public spaces like libraries and supermarkets may be cooler than your home. If you have concerns about uncomfortable hot homes, seek medical advice, and if it's an emergency, 911 will always help. Now, keeping cool at night. It can be difficult to sleep in hot weather. I've had that happen before. When Phil and I were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, something happened to the air conditioning. And of course, all the good heating and air cooling people are always busy, so we had to wait a couple of days, and I'm going to tell you, we were miserable. We did not sleep upstairs. It was only downstairs. It was just too hot up there. Now, if it's too hot or too cold, your internal body temperature may be affected, disrupting your ability to drop off and stay sleeping. So here's how you can sleep in the heat. Sleep in the lowest level of your home because heat rises. If you're on one level, move to the coolest area. Make sure all electrical items are turned off and not in standby mode, as this still creates heat. Have a lukewarm or cool shower before bed to bring your body temperature down slowly. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, and spicy foods. No Mexican in the evening. They increase your body temperature. Now, drink a glass of cold water before bed and keep one closed during the night. Sleep with a thin sheet rather than no cover at all. And it really does help. To help regulate your body temperature, and choose loose-fitting clothing. Tight clothes or pajamas will trap warm air next to your body, and that really does work. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to where we were before. And this was about keeping cool at night. So let's talk about this just a little bit longer. So hotter temperatures can make it hard to get a good night's sleep. We just mentioned that. So keeping your home as cool as possible is the best way to make sure that you're not disturbed. Shut windows during the day and open them when you go to bed to take advantage of the cooler temperatures. Now, if it's still too hot, try sleeping in the coolest room of your home. Or if you have another level, move to the ground floor. Now, heat rises, so downstairs is often cooler. Now, also, if you have a home that some of the rooms are higher ceilings than others, choose the room that has the highest ceiling, because, again, hot air rises, and you'll find that really helps. Try to stick to your usual bedtime routine. Now, even if it's tempting to change it due to the heat. Now, when you do get your head down, don't ditch the duvet completely. This could disrupt the body's ability to control the temperature next to our skin. Instead, try a thin sheet. So also try having a lukewarm or cool shower before you go to bed to keep your body temperature down gradually. Now, what you eat and drink during the day can also affect the quality of your sleep. While it's important to stay hydrated, it's best to stick to water, especially in the evening. That will help. Number 6, if you drink alcohol, please limit your alcohol intake. The sun is high, and so are many people's spirits, and that can also lead folks going out and drinking too much. Now, unfortunately, combining too much sun with many drinks is not a good combination. Alcohol does cause dehydration, and coffee does too now, or even a diet soda that has caffeine in it, which can hit especially hard if your body is already struggling to cope with the weather. Drinking alcohol can also make it harder to get a good night's sleep, so something that's already difficult in warmer temperatures, okay? So while you may fall asleep quickly, you're more likely to have poor quality sleep and wake up earlier than usual. Not exactly refreshing sleep that you were hoping to get. So try to drink. If you must drink, make sure you drink in moderation. Number 7, eat light meals to feel cooler. So even when it's hot, you're far better sticking to light, well-balanced regular meals. Food with a high water content like strawberries, cucumbers, celery, and lettuce will also keep you hydrated and cool. You can also try foods with high fluid content like soups and stews. You know, most folks say, no, I only eat soups and stews in the wintertime. It actually helps you with your hydration levels. Absolutely. Limit physical activity to cooler parts of the day. So it's important not to disrupt your routine too much because of hot weather, but sometimes you may have to. An early morning run may feel punishing when you're nice and you're asleep in your bed, but it could be dangerous to exercise in the blazing midday sun and risk dehydration. So heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Take the temperature into consideration when planning your day, and if you can, limit physical activity to when it's cooler. If you do decide to work out or play sport, make sure to drink lots of water and take more breaks than usual to make sure you're not putting any extra stress on your body. Let's go into a commercial break, and we will be back in just a few minutes.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council,
serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania, and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IAC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. Let's talk about heat. Okay, and it gets really serious now. We talked about how you can cool down, things you can do in the early morning hours or the late evening hours. I like to garden in the early morning hours or in the late, because it gets dark later anyway, and so that's about the only time I've got. So instead of going out during lunch hour, that kind of thing, please limit those outside activities and do it in early morning or late afternoon. Now let's know the risk, okay? And this is really serious. So the heat can have serious effect on your physical health, and especially during a heat wave. It's important to look out for signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Now many people believe that heat exhaustion and heat stroke are the same thing, but heat stroke is potentially far more serious. Let's talk about what's the difference. Okay, heat exhaustion is caused when the body loses excess water, salt, and sugars through sweating. It can also be treated by having plenty to drink, keeping out of the sun, and cooling down. Now, what's a heat stroke? Okay, this is serious. Heat stroke occurs when the body's temperature becomes dangerously high and the body is no longer able to cool itself. Okay, symptoms include confusion, headache, nausea, and muscle cramps. Now, another symptom, which you wouldn't be able to tell it with me, but another symptom is paler skin than normal. Depending on your skin tone, this could mean your skin looks kind of ashy-like or gray, or maybe even a yellowish kind of hue. It might be easier to notice this change in color on the palm of your hands, your nails, or your eyes, gums, and your tongue. Heat stroke can develop with little warning and quickly lead a person to becoming unresponsive. So it's vital to cool them down as quickly as possible by wrapping them with a wet sheet or clothing and dialing 911. You want to do that really early. Learn first aid advice from someone with heat stroke or hot exhaustion by calling 911. They can really help you out with that. Okay, let's talk about first aid with someone who has heat stroke. And we talked about the symptoms of that just a few minutes ago. What causes it, we talked about that just for a few minutes, and who's at risk. Anyone can be at risk from heat stroke, but young children and older adults, tend to be more at risk. People with certain health conditions are also at greater risk. This includes certain chronic illnesses such as heat or lung disease or diabetes. So what's the difference between heat stroke? We talked about that for just a minute ago, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So heat exhaustion happens when the body goes down below its or beyond its core temperature, and when surrounding environment is hotter than you or your body grows tired and heat exhaustion can set in. So let's talk about, we talked about the symptoms. I want to talk about advice, first aid advice. Okay, so during periods of hot weather and heat waves, it's important that you take care of your health as well as the risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. There are other health risks to be aware of. So make sure you're taking precautions to protect yourself. Now let's talk about dehydration. Dehydration can occur when your body loses more water than it takes in, often a result of sweating in hot weather. Symptoms could be dry mouth, dizziness and confusion, headache, reduction in or dark urine. Now, how to help? Drink plenty of water, avoid alcohol or caffeine as they can make the dehydration worse. Sunburn is skin damage caused by too much sun exposure. So symptoms could be red and painful skin. These symptoms can take up to 5 hours to appear. How to help? Now move the person out of the sun and encourage them to drink sips of cold water. You may have to put the water to their lips. An ice cube could help speed that up as well. Cool the affected skin with cold water or encourage them to soak in a cold bath for up to 20 minutes. Calamine or after sun lotion may also soothe the skin. And I'll tell you something that always helps me. I get sunburned really easy with this pale skin of mine. And I like to keep aloe vera. I'm talking about the plant. I keep pots of it just to make sure I never run out of it. And anybody can grow aloe vera. You can find aloe vera if you have to pay $5 for the plant. Don't worry. You can underwater it and it still will grow. And also when you see little pieces of it growing out, make sure you put some in a pot and give it to a friend, okay? You can grow this stuff easier than anything. But here's what you want to do with aloe vera. You'll get it, just a slim leaf of it. Get the fatty part of it though, okay? So it kind of grows into the bottom of it would be kind of chubby like. It's going to be wide, and then it grows up thinner. I like to get that chubby part of it. Get a knife and you can cut it in half. Open it up, kind of like you're opening the leaf or a book. You're opening up a book page. And you'll see all this really nice gel. So you want to get a spoon, you want to get that gel out. If you burn yourself, it's really good for burning as well. But if you get it and put the aloe vera wherever the sunburn is, on your back or whatever, wherever it is, it stops immediately. I use it because I'm always burning myself. You know, I'm canning and I'm cooking all the time. Grease could splatter on you. Use your aloe vera for that. We'll do another show about aloe vera another day, but you get the point. Aloe vera is the best thing you can get, and it's 100% all natural. Okay, now more advice about dealing with burns and learning first aid to deal with hay fever. Hay fever is an allergic reaction caused by high pollen levels. Warm, sunny weather can increase pollen levels in the air, so it's important to watch out for updates on this in the weather forecast. Symptoms include sneezing, itchy eyes, a runny nose. Now, how to help? Most symptoms can be treated with medicines called antihistamines, which can help relieve the symptoms of allergies. Other measures include wearing wraparound sunglasses to stop the pollen getting into your eyes. Showering, I think since I've been wearing contacts and I wear those when I go outside, I've noticed it's not as bad as it used to be with me. So contacts may be helping. I don't know. Showering and changing clothes after being outside to wash that pollen off. Okay, remain indoors when pollen levels are high. Remember, you can get advice from calling 911. Now, how to help in the first aid emergency. In any emergency, first aid can save lives, so there are ways that you can learn through the Red Cross. Go to redcross.org and choose your own path to learn these things. Okay, now let's talk about, there was another dealing with burns and learning first aid and how to deal with them. So let's talk about that, because I have been sunburned like really, really bad. And if you go to the beach, by the way, and you're fair skinned, like, just don't do it. Don't go there. But one place that people forget about with their lotion that they use on their body, make sure you get enough SPS, by the way, some people don't do the bottoms of their feet. You can get blistered there and not be able to walk for a few days. So be really careful there. Okay, now, first aid for someone who has a burn. Number one, make sure you cool the burn under cool, cold, running water for at least 20 minutes. Now, cooling the burn will reduce pain, swelling, and the risk of scarring. The sooner and longer the burn is cooled with cool, cold running water, the less impact on the injury. And another way, again, aloe vera, and no, I don't own stock in it. Aloe vera has saved my hide several times. Number two, after the burn has been cooled, cover it with cling film or a clean plastic bag. This helps prevent infection by keeping the area clean. Cling film or plastic won't stick to the burn and will reduce pain by keeping air from the skin's surface. Now, another thing you'll need to do is call 911 if necessary. If you can't call 911, get someone else to do it for you. If you can't call 911, someone else can do it. The burn may need urgent, and you can't call 911. That means you need urgent medical treatment. If you're in any doubt, seek medical advice, and always seek medical advice for a baby or a child who has been burned. Again, I'm talking to you about common questions helping someone who has a burn. Now, if clothes are stuck to the burn, should I try to remove them? The answer on that is a no. Do not try to remove anything that's stuck to the skin, as it can cause more damage. You can remove clothing that's near the burn but not stuck to it. So, why is cooling the burn important? Cooling the burn is important because it helps reduce pain and lowers the risk of long-term scarring. Now, should I cool the burn for 20 minutes first or go straight to the hospital? Cool the burn under cold running water immediately and wait for 20 minutes. Then, if necessary, call 911 while you're cooling the burn. Continue to cool the burn until the ambulance arrives, okay? That's very important. Now, can I use a shower or cold bath to cool the burn? A shower is a good way of flooding the burn with cold water to help in the cooling. Now, focus the water on the side of the burn rather than the whole limb or body. The water should be cold and at low pressure. That's something else. Avoid putting the whole body under a cold shower or in a cold bath, as it could induce hypothermia. Now, one more. What should I do if the burn is still painful after I've cooled it for 20 minutes and covered it with the cling film? Burns will often be painful even after cooling them. You can give an appropriate dose of painkillers and reassure the person who has been burned to help them remain calm. Always seek medical advice for a baby or a child who has been burned. Okay, another question. I've got to do this one. We'll take the time for it. Should I put butter, cream, or toothpaste on a burn? No. Butter, cream, or toothpaste will not cool this area. Butter and cream contain oils. So oils do retain heat, which is opposite of what you're trying to do. Toothpaste often contains menthol, which gives the superficial feeling of cooling but does not effectively help a burn. If you put anything on top of a burn and it later needs to be removed in the hospital, it could cause further pain and damage. Aloe vera, again, I've done that. It's a gel, and it's always cool to the touch. Even if you're growing it outside, it's always going to feel a coolness. One thing you could do while you're drinking your water, have somebody break off a limb of that aloe vera, put it in the freezer, and then put it on your skin. Oh, wow. Isn't that awesome? Okay, thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I appreciate you watching this show. I hope this helps you out during this hot, sultry weather that we're having right now. You take care.